Right? Mm-hmm. 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 So this is a cell number. So if I'm going to phone it from a landline, you're going to charge me to phone. Oh, 832932847. Supposedly Joburg head office. Okay.
Melissa?
Give that a try.
Guys? Hey, Melissa, can you hear me? Hey, Melissa? Melissa? Melissa, can you hear me? Yes, please.
Sorry, I was on the other line, on my landline.
Okay. I was just so worried my sound wasn't working again.
Oh, no, it's working, but I'm going to go and have a shower and then I'll come back. I just was making sure I didn't forget to click on the thing. So I'll be back just now. Bye. Oh, now you see there's no sound. I can't hear you. No, can't hear you. The monkey, right? The monkey. Yeah. Jack just chased it. I just saw him chasing. Yeah. What?
Some documents. Top documents.
And look here, there's a bike here. Big beetle.
You're in the picture. Yes, but
It's choosing something, I don't know. But I think they've got something here.
my documents, yes, I.
Look, they're up on the roof here.
got it, thanks.
I've got you there.
You got the PDF.
Look at the hair on your back and standing up.
Sorry, yes, thank you.
Oh, my leg.
I don't think so, thanks.
We can check on your laptop. There's a bit of background there, isn't it? You okay?
I don't know.
How do you find out?
Hi, this is Joan. I don't know how to join now.
You go to my email, you can join on there. Let me join for you.
Sorry, no, can you just give me a minute? Let me just. Melissa?
Okay.
Thanks.
You're on there.
I think so. Hi, Paresh, can you hear me?
You didn't send me a Zoom.
I don't know how to get out of here.
Joan. Hi, how are you? Hello, can you hear me?
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. How are you?
Okay, great. Sorry, thanks. Good, thanks. Murphy's Law, everything was working fine, and then all of a sudden we go on to you guys, and it's a problem. So I've swapped
No,
PCs,
today
and
it's gonna
he seems to be fine.
No, everything's all good. We're a bit early, so I normally wait till about 5 past. So I see there's still people joining. So yes, I've made you host, so you know what to do now.
Super, thank you. I'm quickly going to fill my cup of tea.
So,
You got Zoom on your phone, eh? Yeah. Then that'll be perfect. There you go. You're gonna have to turn over there later. Otherwise. Super.
Joanne. I think there's quite a few joining. I think if we wait 1 more minute, and then I'm happy for you to introduce yourself and start.
Super, no problem. Thank you.
Hi.
Okay, so it's been on 20 participants for a few minutes. So if anyone still joins, that's fine. But yeah, I'd just like to introduce myself. So my name is Joan Shaw. I'm the manager of tourism. Georgia is a bit of a unique situation. We actually sit fully within the municipality. So we are local government, and we do all the marketing and all the promotion for our area. And that's why we've got such a diverse area. So I'm just going to kick off and get going and get started. There's quite a lot to cover. I think maybe if you let me finish, then we can handle any questions afterwards. I have got somebody helping me to take questions, so maybe you can just jot down your questions and we handle them afterwards. So, are you all able to see my screen?
Yes, we are.
You are. Okay, great stuff. So, yeah, people obviously maybe do see Georgian Wilderness as one place, but Uniondale is actually 110 kilometers away. But it's really put some extra arsenal in our basket because it gives us a little bite of the Klein Karoo as well. So I'm going to start off with, oh my word, let me just get my presentation up properly here. Okay, so the geographical area known as George is actually quite far. You'll see we go from just the side of Glentana to Herald's Bay, Puckelsdorp, Timberlake, Vic Bay Wilderness, Kleinkrans, and then right over the mountain to Uniondale as well. So George really is the perfect destination for travelers now. In our post-COVID, we have wide open spaces. We've got activities that don't take crowds. We don't have a lot of organized activities. So wherever we've been going so far, we've managed to stay apart quite naturally. You know, there's no crowded spaces wherever you go. And I think that's quite important now. As we go forward, people will be more attentive to what they're doing and who they're sharing their spaces with. So George's main activities that we market are golf, hike and bike, best location, rail and air, strawberries, history and culture, and surf and sun. And I'm going to take you a little bit through all of those. So golf, of course, our links is the #1 course in the country at present. I'm struggling a bit with this thing. And everybody has to play it once in their lifetime, but only if you're a golfer. If you're not a golfer, it's a bit difficult course to play. But we also, George has many courses in the top 15 in South Africa. George, our public course is also very highly ranked. And then we've got Lynx, Montague, George, and Outeniqua all in the top 15. Our beautiful, lush forests, picturesque farmlands, waterfalls, peaks, lakes, just make it the perfect outdoor destination. So you can do just about anything you can find in nature, you can find in George. And you can experience that through different ways. So there's rail experiences, there's hiking, as I said, biking, and many different ways to experience that amazing nature. We also have helicopter flips from our airport that can take you over the ocean, and paragliding. Our latest project that we're very proud of is actually our culture and history. So Pacaltsdorp, which is a suburb of George, has got a long legacy of Khoi history. But as time has gone by, people have settled in George and made it a very diverse community. And we have a new project called Dine with a Local, which is absolutely just a way that people, and especially foreigners, love it, can engage with local people and spend some time to see their culture, their heritage, how they live today compared to how they lived before. And we have 4 hosts that have infused those styles into their tables. So we have a Xhosa evening, a Khoi evening, a Cape Malay style, and what we call a rainbow nation. So it starts with a traditional snoek and patats, but becomes quite a very modern South African evening. We also have amazing historical buildings. George is the 5th oldest town in South Africa. So a lot of history, but more and more people want to experience the people telling the history and not just look at an old church or a museum. So we are busy training a lot of cultural site guides to take people around to show them all the beautiful things. Although our choo-choo no longer runs, we have the beautiful old transport museum, not just fun for families, but a lot of foreigners come and experience the beautiful old steam trains and ambulances and the train that the Queen of England rode in. So there's a lot of connections people make to George that have to do, obviously we were named after King George, so that's quite a connection in itself. George is the perfect climate for growing strawberries, and not just strawberries, in fact, any berries, but the strawberry farm took the initiative about 10 years ago and started planting varieties that can bear fruit every single day of the year. So although they're not open on Sundays, for theoretically 365 days of the year, you can pick your own strawberries in George. And they're always there. So they're different varieties. As I said, we're now growing kiwi fruits. We grow raspberries, blackberries, gooseberries, any berry you can think of, you can have in George. We also have a massive strawberry festival in September, which is very popular for old and young alike. Our surf and sun goes without saying. Now is actually the best surfing time. So our surfers are crazy out in the water in their wetsuits while the rest of us are freezing to death. But we have surfing lessons. Vic Bay is our iconic surfing beach. I think next to J Bay, probably one of the most famous in the country. And you can do lessons, you can paddle, you can snorkel, you can surf ski. And not just at Vic Bay, we also have a fabulous beach at Herald's Bay, which is very family orientated, chill beach. And George remains a great family destination. Before we go on to some of the other areas, I want to show you a little bit about our conference and meetings venues, because I think if any travel is going to take off quickly, it's probably going to start off there. So I'm going to make this presentation available to all of you, but I just want to show you how many different varieties there are. We have 2 Proteas hotels. We have Fancourt, there's Obai, there's smaller lodges, there's a town lodge, and there's just really great nice sort of venues available. So those are some of the rooms featured there: Obai, George Lodge International, and Fancourt. I want to take you through some of our unusual accommodation, and although not all of it is star graded, we actually have some really iconic little settings. So Redberry Farm is not rated, but these are some of the places one can stay. And just look at the history. And then there's out in nature. These are new little pods that are on the dam at Buffinfellow. It's on a buffalo farm. They've got an outside spa, really eco-friendly, away from everything. There's Melvin Manor in the mountains. We've got beachfront nearby, and so lots of accommodation, of course, on the beachfront between Herald's Bay Wilderness, Big Bay. This is the Waves. It's actually the only guest house on the beach in Herald's Bay. And then our super, super luxury, I'm sure you all know the Manor House at Fan Court. And so there's really something for everybody in George. On the golf course, of course, we've got so many golf courses that it's hard not to get a place on the golf course. And then our more formal hotels. So really for every pocket and every opportunity or business, leisure, family, there's something special in George. Wilderness, although a tiny village, is our adventure capital. And the main things we sell are adventure, nature, art, and food. So if you can think about doing it, you can do it here, right here in Wilderness. You can paraglide, canoe, kloof, canyon, abseil, rock climb, horseback ride. You know, if it's there, you need it. And so it's perfect also for team buildings, for family holidays, and for being out and about in the open. There's these beautiful horseback rides, canoeing, there's stand-up paddling, there's beautiful restaurants on the water, and then just majestic nature. That is our iconic map of Africa. It's the Tow River makes the beautiful shape of Africa. There's an 800-year-old tree, and we're in a national park. So there's always our kingfisher birds are fantastic, bird spotting. That is the national park. In winter, we have whales, dolphins, and beautiful viewpoints all over. And that is Wilderness Beach. So miles and miles. I actually took a walk there yesterday in my lunch hour. And I felt so lucky. We were like, there was us and one lady and her dog on the beach. So it was really just, I felt like I was out in the wild. There's also plenty of wining and dining opportunities in Wilderness and in George. But Wilderness has got really from Serendipity, which is a really five-course and wine pairing menu, to lots of casual cafes, from the opulent to the humble. This is Kaiman's, which is actually a new restaurant. I believe that because they opened just towards the end of last year, I'm not sure if they're going to be open during post-COVID, but we're trying our best to do everything to assist them. And Wilderness is often seen as a little beach village and a sea village and a hippie village, but one thing people don't really know is about how many beautiful artists or artists that create beautiful work live in Wilderness. And we actually have 21 locations to uncover if you're an art enthusiast. And even if you're not, I believe art feeds the soul, and I just love exploring through Wilderness and finding all the little different artists, from really iconic, famous artists, which can be quite pricey. And we have a beautiful art festival every year as well, where you can buy paintings from 100 Rand, which is just so amazing for me because they're locally painted, they're unframed, but they can do serve the purpose. And these are also some of our Wilderness facilities for conferences. And then we have beautiful accommodation also featured. This is the Livingstone Villa in Constantia Kloof Conservancy, which is not on the beach, but you can see how it overlooks the beach. This is on the beach, Xanadu. We've got Cinnamon and plenty of 5-star beach villas, as well as up to cabins in the national park. So that's really, as I said, something for everybody. Then there's, of course, lagoon and river. So I always tell people, think of a natural feature. And if you can't find it, I'll give you $100. We've got lakes, we've got rivers, we've got estuaries, we've got forests, we've got just even a botanical garden. Everything you can think of, we have in our area. So what I really also want to tell you about then is a little bit about Uniondale, before I just talk about our locality. And one is, we say, come to Uniondale for absolutely digital detox. So I have a certain a cell phone network, and actually it never works in Walton, in Uniondale. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good if I'm there for work. But to be there is like actually stepping into a different country. So there's mountain biking, there's 4x4 routes, there's aloes and art, and just lovely, lovely Klein-Karoo charm. And I suppose you've all heard about the ghost of Uniondale. There's been a movie about it. There's been a song about it. And we all have experienced something to make us believe that there is really a ghost in Uniondale, even myself. This is the beautiful Karoo to Coast bike race that takes place every year. It was unfortunately cancelled this year due to COVID, but it goes from Uniondale to Knysna along this beautiful Prince Alfred Pass. And if you drive that route, you don't have to cycle it, you can drive it. There's beautiful little farm stalls and farmers to meet. The people of the Klein-Karoo are just special. And that's one of my favorite things. There's Angie's G-Spot, which is a funny little pub that serves beers to the bikers. There's another pub in the middle of nowhere, but they just, there's often a live singer and you can get cold beer, and it's just meeting the people and chatting to the locals is what makes it really special. We have a lot of famous artists, movie makers, all sorts of people live around Uniondale. And the art and this is a succulent nursery and a gallery is just absolutely beautiful. This is the Langkloof sculpture garden and Cannabis, and also a garden, and all her sculptures are just beautifully arranged around the garden. She does lectures and classes, teaches people how to sculpt. And so it almost gives you that sort of Prince Albert type of feel. You know, you can go and do a course there in different things. There's a lady that teaches you to catch your own chicken, pluck it, clean it, and cook it, which I haven't done yet, but it's on my bucket list. As I said, 4x4 routes. So this is becoming very popular also now because people don't really want to be in each other's space. And there's a lot of organized routes. So maps, everything are available through the website, through our info office there. And then there's just something about the Klein-Karoo and this little town in general that has got like a hipster vibe. You know, they've got you can get a hipster bike and drive through, and there's a mix of old locals and new people that have moved in with art and different activities. There's a lovely little tuk-tuk tour, and this gentleman will take you around in his tuk-tuk and show you all the sights. Now, when I say sights, a lot of it is quite far out of town that he doesn't manage the tuk-tuk with. Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm going too fast. I get so excited. And you can do a tuk-tuk tour. He tells you stories about the ghosts, about the locals, where to eat, and just the town in general, through the township, as well as the old historical town. Yes. Sorry, if I have been going too fast, I will make the presentation available to all of you. So I'm sorry about that. Then there's a lot of raw history in Uniondale. So there's a lot of old forts from the Anglo-Boer War. The British were garrisoned there. So there's 5 British forts, of which 4 are still visible. And although there's no illustrative history, people often come from Britain that follow the wars and come and look at it. And there's an old water wheel. So none of it has been really developed. It's still really raw history, of which there is information available. So here's the watermill, and there's actually a restaurant here where you can dine. It's a heritage site. And Dalian Mattia, who's the author of Kringe in die Bos, I think she's deceased now, she actually restored this old water wheel in her lifetime. So what we like to say is come to George, explore, experience, and escape. It's all here. And then the last thing I just want to talk to you about today is actually the location of Georgian wilderness compared to the rest of the garden route. So we actually sit in what we like to call the heart of the garden route, where you can drive to any location in and around the garden route. If you're staying in Georgia Wilderness, you can drive as far as Plett, or even the other side of Plett, Mossel Bay, Oudtshoorn, and we actually did a graph of which places you could visit within what kilometer radius. And Georgian Wilderness are absolutely in the sweet spot. So we're the least kilometers to visit every attraction of the garden route. So we like to say to people, unpack your bags, stay in a beautiful hotel that suits your lifestyle, unpack your bags and take a scenic drive out to wherever you want to go. Georgian Wilderness, if you drive from to Plett for the day, or Knysna, and then down to Mossel Bay and over the mountain to Oudtshoorn, is less or just over 600 kilometers. Whereas if you stay in Plett, it's way over 1,000, and if you stay in Mossel Bay, it's just slightly over 1,000. So there is no better place to base yourself in the garden route than in George. And we find a lot of operators are actually staying in different towns, maybe Oudtshoorn or Knysna, and driving their guests through to the other towns on a regular basis and going the same route, seeing the same things. So they end up spending a lot of time in their cars rather than seeing the beautiful things that they are to see and those little undiscovered sites away from the big organized tourism activities. And we'd really like to encourage you guys to come and have a look. We actually will be hosting a fam trip in October. So I'm going to make sure some invites go out to Thompson's as well, to come and experience it for yourself. Because they call us a city, but we actually only called a city because we have a cathedral. We really are a 200,000 population town with beautiful mountain views, lots of activities, great accommodation. On all the major transport routes, we have an airport. So please don't just think of George as golf or land or an airport. We really do offer every single thing that your guests could want. So thank you very much. Today, I'm going to just answer a few questions. The Arts Festival is normally held in October. I'm not sure if it's going to take place this year. We think we will have it on a smaller form. Wilderness is turning 100 years old next year. So we are trying to keep up all our events culminating in one big party in the middle of next year for our 100th celebration. Yeah, you can't pick strawberries on a Sunday, and I have been fighting with that owner of that farm for a very long time about the picking of strawberries on a Sunday, because really tourists don't know what day of the week it is. But they're devout Christians, and he does not want to open on a Sunday. So we are looking at maybe trying to find an alternative farm to open. But that's pretty much, I think people are used to it now, and it is a pity, but that's unfortunately what we have to live with. Are there any other questions?
Thanks, Joan. That was great. It's always so nice to have our local tourism boards and areas in South Africa, because we just forget how beautiful it is. And there's so much to do.
Even I do.
Yeah, I think.
No, thanks. I'm sorry I rushed through that. I was a bit nervous because my equipment, last time packed up. But yeah, so thank you everyone for joining. I'm really so glad, and it's encouraging to see that tour operators are keeping themselves abreast all the time,
Does anybody else have any questions?
Okay, great. Thanks for all the compliments, guys. is beautiful. And really, if you're interested and you want to change your itineraries and you want to come and have a look, you're more than welcome. We include flights and ground handling, accommodation, everything will be paid for. The only thing we don't pay for is alcohol. So you'll need a bit of pocket money to try our brilliant wines. So let me know. If you're very keen to come, I'll definitely put you on the list.
Awesome. Thank you, Joan. That's great. Okay, if there's no more questions, then I think we can go. If you can just send me that presentation, then I can also send it on to everybody. That's
Super.
great.
I will. Thank you. You see, it's in a PDF format, so I'll probably just send it. Yeah, I'll send it like that. Definitely. And maybe I can send you some sticks. We're a little bit, we haven't really changed anything because of the COVID, but there are some things that maybe a little bit different. Yeah.
No, that's excellent. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a good Friday and a nice weekend.
Yes. Cheers. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.